I need your help. In theory, am I 21.6% Asian? In theory. Help me sort this out. Now here's how we're going to do this. You've seen in many videos, I've showed you my results. I'm 21.6% Central American. Translation, Mayan, Aztec, because my grandmother being Mexican, that's where that comes from on MyHeritage. That's how it projects it. According to my version of reality, those test results often are connected to the physical traits that you have. So in theory, nearly a quarter of me, if you really know what you're looking for, would have that look of someone who is Central American. And someone had described it as facial features are closer together. And then of course, I would argue too, even the eye shape is going to be maybe more of an almond shape. Here's what I want you to help me sort out. Remember, my perspective of reality is not necessarily reality. The closest thing any of us can do to getting close to reality is looking at the general consensus and thinking, if most people think this, then maybe it's true. Okay? So with me being 21.6% Central American, I would argue that the Native Americans, and depending on what part of the world you live on, that may be a confusing term, but just so that we're clear, the people who first lived in modern day United States, as well as Mexico, as well as all of Central America, as well as South America, the people who originally lived there for thousands of years before Christopher Columbus discovered it, okay? The people who originally lived there, those people, before the Spaniards, before the Europeans came over, those people, I'm saying they're of Asian descent. To me, that's a no-brainer. To me, there's no theories needed. It's pretty obvious. The Asian people got around. They knew how to navigate. You know, like Polynesian, like Hawaii, Fiji, like they were getting in canoes, sailing across the ocean, and then bam, there you go. So if they could do all that easily, they could cross the Bering Strait, go into Alaska, come down through America, go all the way down, and then and it makes sense. Native Americans, when we think of Native American in modern day United States, we think of someone who's taller, maybe has more of a stronger nose. But then if we're talking about someone in Central America or South America that's native to that land, typically they're a little bit shorter. They're not going to have such a prominent nose and so on. They have different cultures. I can accept that. How over time makes sense to me. They're Asian, right? We're on the same page about that, right? That Native Americans are of Asian descent. So in theory, if my DNA test says 21.6% Central American, the way I look at that is technically 21.6% of me is Asian. To me, that makes perfect sense. But I don't know if that's the version of reality that most people believe. Even now, looking in the selfie cam, I'm like, I could see how arguably 21.6% of me could be of Asian descent. Of Asian descent. Now, that's not to say I'm pretending like I'm a quarter Japanese or something. I'm saying the Native American part. The Native American part being, having transcended from the Asian race. It makes sense to me. Now, I've always felt that way. That's always how I felt. I've always felt Native Americans, whether they're in North or Central or Southern America, it's the Asian race. That's where they came from. Just like people who settled in, you know, New Zealand, the original people in New Zealand, they were of Asian descent, not Polynesian. Asian. That's very obvious to me. But, and you saw in that other video that I made with Joshua, and I jokingly said to him, I said, well, don't you think if I were wrong, I'd know it? You know, I'm never going to be that guy in real life. So what I'm saying is, I'm presenting a theory that Native Americans are of Asian descent. And therefore, according to MyHeritage DNA test, I am 21.6% of Asian descent. Because the way it's labeled, it says Central American. But if we wanted to put another label on it, I think we could put, you know, Mayan, Aztec, parentheses, of Asian descent. Okay? So, how wrong am I? How right am I? Here's my prediction. I predict that most people would disagree on my theory. I predict that most people would say, Nick, there's no way that you could say that technically you're 21.6% of Asian descent just because you've got that much Native American because your grandmother was Mexican. You're wrong. I'm expecting most people to say that I'm wrong, and I'm okay with that. I've got a good, healthy self-esteem. I go through most days assuming I'm going to be wrong at every turn, and when I'm not, oh, I'm not wrong about that thing? Oh, somebody agreed with me? Just like when Joshua agreed with me in that video, that it's a good, healthy thing to not let other people control your emotions. Even though that's not normal, it's a good and healthy thing. So here I am expecting tomatoes to be launched at me, stones, potatoes to be launched at me. I'm ready for people to just dislike the video, curse me out, unsubscribe. Nick, I can't stand you. I never liked you. That's what I'm expecting. That's the angst that I'm expecting. That's the emotional disgrace that I'm expecting to ooze all over the place in the comment section by me even suggesting that I, in theory, am 21.6% Asian because I'm Central American, because of my Mexican grandma. All right. Taking a deep breath. I'm getting ready. In the comment section, does anyone agree with my theory, or is it nothing but hurled potatoes?